Serving home cooking, Jack's Barcelona Drive-In, 8249 First Street, Westfield. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner by beautiful Lake Erie in a summer cottage atmosphere with local wines and beers available. Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Bella Salon and Day Spa, located at 41 West Main Street in Northeast Pennsylvania, proudly supports Chautauqua Sunrise and its volunteers. More information at bellasalonanddayspa.net. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District, with a local office in Olean. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. From the Access Channel 5 studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Channel 5. Continuing the traditions of Senior Report, we are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week, countywide, from 9 to 10 a.m. Join us by calling in live, emailing us, or checking out our social media. And now, from the Channel 5 studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Hey everybody, good morning. I'm Doc Hamels and welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise. Woo! It was a brisk morning today. I'm in charge of our highway cleanup committee for our Rotary Club in Westfield, Mayville, and I had to make the big decision when the superintendents have to do it for snow days. So yesterday I had to make a decision whether we were going to go out this morning at 10:30 and clean things up here, and so I had to make that executive decision, and I said, no way, Jose. Too cold, calling for snow flurries up here on the hill in Mayville and possible rain, so we're going to do that in the spring. So if you're complaining about the way 394 looks like right now, it's my fault, okay? We start at Portage Hill Galleries and go right down to the lake, but it's just too cold. I hope you're all warm and cozy. Grab a coffee or some hot chocolate. I had mine already this morning. I had to wake up. It was dark and cold, and the dog's looking at me, and so he got his snack, and I got my hot chocolate. And so we're here. Got a great show for you in store, as always, and I hope you've had a great week. And you know, fall is here. Colors are fantastic. Throughout the show today, as we're panning through the studio here, you're going to see some photos of that the guys have taken, and we've got some new things. And I can't point them out right now, but you'll get to see them. Some of you may or may not know that, for instance, the photo behind me. Okay. All the photos, all the work that we have here is taken by our cameraman and our engineer, Randy Burt, Jeff Zook, and his brother Galen. He's a contributor here. But this is all local sites and photos from Chautauqua County, and we just really believe in letting you see little snippets. And we have enough photos now, I think, for all the season, so we're going to switch things up as we go along. So anyways, happy fall, and as always, I'm going to plow through some announcements here, and we'll get busy here. So let's start out with something that Dennis Drew left me. Okay, as always, if you can't catch us live, you might be listening to me this coming week Tuesdays, 1 o'clock on WRFA, Low Power to the People, Dennis Drew and Company. And he wanted me to remind you, coming up at the Reg Lene, they've got somebody called Rainey Arbo and Daisy Mayhem. I'm not exactly sure what they do. I'm suspecting they're musicians. I see a banjo in the photo. It's Saturday, November 21st, and we'll be talking about that some more. But he asked me to just let you know that there's various events coming up at the Reg because they're associated with the Reg Lene, WRFA. They're upstairs, and just a great group of folks to work with. Okay, also I want to remind you that throughout the show today, if you have an announcement or you have a question for me or our guest, you want to announce perhaps somebody's birthday, anniversary, you have your club or organization has an event coming up, give us a call, Twitter us, email us. We're happy to get it on the air for you. And if you're really shy, call up, talk to the guys, they'll write it down and they'll run it in here into the studio and I'll announce it then, okay? So don't be bashful. We're here to share all the information that we can throughout the county. Even though we're here in Mayville, we cover everybody. So don't be bashful. So let me just tell you a little bit about another organization that has asked me, and I'm going to talk about it just today, and then I'm going to let you just go from there. But over in Ripley, where'd it go? I have this here. They just opened up the fitness center for the public, and they want me to tell you that on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. in the morning, and the same days, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 3:30 to 9 p.m. in the evening, the fitness center at the school is open. The reason why I'm announcing this because it's sort of brand new. A lot of people don't even realize that it's available for you. And as we know, the winter months, the colder months are coming. We're not going to get out there and stretch as much as we did. So come on in, it's free. And you sign up, and they got people there that are CPR trained, and they'll take good care of you. You got lots of great equipment there. And they want you to use the entrance on State Street near the playground. You got to be 18 years or older to come in by yourself, and they want you to bring a separate pair of shoes to wear because they want to keep things nice and clean up there, okay? And let's see what else. I did that, all right. And as always, in October, we are very, very much focused on breast cancer awareness. I'm wearing my pink here. My mom had breast cancer. She was a survivor for about 35 years. We take this stuff very seriously in our family. We make sure my daughter gets her mammograms every year, and I encourage you all to do the same thing. Don't wait. Thank you, Randy. Don't wait because it just gets worse. Tackle it when you find out if there's any issues, and you may have something that you say, I think I got something going on here, and you're fretting about it, you're worrying about it, you're losing sleep, and it might just turn out to be a cyst or a little lump or something or other. They'll check it out and they'll keep track of it, and you don't need to worry about it. We got great facilities in our local hospitals. Westfield Memorial Hospital's got great facilities, WCA, Brooks. Get out there, get checked out. And guys, I already talked to you about this. We are susceptible to breast cancer as well, so just don't turn your head right now. If you have some issues or you feel something in your breast area, get it checked out, because I know guys have had breast cancer and it's no different. All right, so take good care of yourselves. All right, I got a bunch of announcements to tell you about today, so let's get right into it. And yeah, I wonder where I put my glasses on my head. Did I put my glasses somewhere? All right, I guess I'm going to wing this the best I can. I'm always losing my glasses. Oh, wait a minute, I found them. There we go. It took me 20 minutes to find my glasses the other day at home. They were outside where I left them as I was taking the screens down. All right, coming up. First one, Sunday, October 25th, all right? We got a slide for this, I believe, Jeff. An adult evening with Shel Silverstein starts at 7 p.m. It's going to be at Zebro's Harbor House. Now, this is sponsored by the Lakeshore Center for the Arts, Rick Mascaro and company. I'm actually part of the troupe in this thing. It's 6 of us, and we're putting on skits and poems and songs. And I got to tell you, we did this last week at the Grape Discovery Center, and of course we were all pretty nervous, but the crowd went crazy. They were laughing at everything we did appropriately, and we had a great time. So it's seating. It's a dinner type thing. You can order dinner, or and then it's $10 plus your dinner, and start. I'm going to get through this yet. Starting at 6:30 p.m. and then the show starts at 7. So you can eat and see the play or whatever. But it's at Zebro's 7 o'clock next Sunday. Okay, coming up next, the Town of Terror, the Children's Safety Education Village. I was there last night selling hot chocolate. That was popular. We had a whole crew of people coming through, and you wouldn't think so on a cold, rainy night. People love to get scared. I couldn't believe it. They were coming out with their families, and they were having a great time. They're getting great reviews. A lot of people told me how much they enjoyed it. And really, we have lots of volunteers, students, and adults, and great time. The proceeds go to help the Children's Safety Education Village. It's again tonight from 7:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. There's the poster. You may want to think about how old your kids are, unless they're going to stick right close to you, because it is pretty scary. And we recommend 12 years old on up, because some of the kids get pretty spooked. I got to tell you though, I've been an actor in this show. I call it a show, but this haunted. I do this every Saturday morning. It takes me about 10 minutes to get my mouth in order. Town of Terror. I've been an actor in there, and I've had adults that just run out of the building sometimes. The kids are having a good time, but the adults, they get spooked pretty well. It's $10. They're going to be starting 7:30 tonight, and they're going to do it again next Friday and Saturday, same time. So check it out, Children's Safety Education Village. The entire village is a zombie land. It's crazy there. Okay, next one, Color Burst at Westfield Memorial Hospital. Cancer Awareness and Memorial Parade. That is today. Registration is now in process, and the parade is going to start exactly when I get off the air, so 10 o'clock. It's still time. If somebody has any questions, call Laura Lasham at 793-2336. So that's the Color Burst parade at Westfield Memorial Hospital. Okay, coming up next, North Shore Arts Alliance. This is called Small Works, Big Ideas. It's later today, so after you get done with the parade, you can start heading over to the Grape Discovery Center from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. At the Grape Discovery Center on Route 20 in Westfield. They're going to have a sale of small artwork by anonymous artists, and from what I can tell, everything is $25. And there's going to be some music and wines and art and all good stuff. So check it out if you like. There's a lot of great things going on at the Grape Discovery Center these days. All right, Westfield Memorial Hospital presents a wine and cheese event. Friday, October 23rd, that would be next Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at 21 Bricks. Entertainment by the great Sam Hyman. I've listened to him now on YouTube. He's got a great voice. He sounds a lot like James Taylor. Reservations required. For more information, call 793-2338. One more time, 793-2338. And get your reservations in as soon as possible. Okay, here's a new one. Sherman Chamber of Commerce. Amish Wedding Style Dinner. This could be interesting. Friday, October 30th. For more information, call 708-9354. All right, so it's Amish Wedding Style Dinner, and that should be a lot of fun. And I've heard people that have gone to these, and they just rave about it, and there's lots of good food there. All right, near and dear to my heart, November 7th, the Westfield Mayville Rotary Club. Our Gold Rush, 6 p.m. at Eason Hall. Barbecue dinner, $30. You can win up to $1,000, and there's all sorts of smaller prizes, and this has been going on for like 30-some years. $30 a person, you get dinner. I'm the MC, so you get entertainment. I'm always entertaining. And cash prize $1,000. And I've had people within my own family won a couple $100, $300, $50, $20, or whatever. So it's a great time. You can bring your own wine, cheese, snacks, and things like that. And there's the different prizes there if you wanted to have a look. Okay. And also, I want to announce that the Westfield Memorial Hospital Auxiliary, they are going to have Park Lane jewelry sale to benefit the Westfield Memorial Hospital Auxiliary on Monday, October 26th from 8 to 3:30 p.m. in the hospital main lobby. Okay? And it's that time of year, so it's not too early to start your Christmas shopping, so check it out. Okay, from our friends in Infinity. These are always a tongue twister. Okay, here we go. All students and family interested in learning more about Infinity or signing up for lessons or classes are invited to attend a new student orientation session at the Infinity Center. Infinity's next orientation will be held Thursday, October 22nd, beginning at 5:45. Additional sessions will be held every 30 minutes thereafter as sessions become full. You're sitting there going like, I don't know what Infinity is. If your kids are interested in music, dance, art, drama, poetry, writing, anything in the creative areas, the people at Infinity are unbelievable, and they've got classes for your kids to get involved with. I've been involved with them. I've played there. I've played with the students and that sort of thing. It's just a great opportunity. Orientations last approximately 20 minutes and are followed by a tour of the facility and then scheduling of lessons. The Infinity Center is located at 301 East 2nd Street in downtown Jamestown. And, here we go, the Infinity Repertory Theater, a lot of R's in that, will be holding auditions for the premiere of several original one-act plays. The one-act play festival will be performed in a reader's theater style at the Infinity Arts Cafe on Thursday, October 29th. For more information, please visit the Infinity Center at 301 East 3rd Street or contact the Infinity office at 664-0991. And as always, as you can tell, there's a lot going on in Chautauqua County. So if you're sitting at home bored, you're either not watching the show or you're not reading the newspaper or listening to the radio. This place is alive, so get out there, enjoy what's going on. I'm going to take a breather. We're going to have a public service announcement, and we'll be right back with our guests. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
And move over. When you see lights,
vests,
or reflectors,
please give us some room. Slow down and move over.
when you need us,
we've got your back.
Do you have ours?
You got our back?
You got ours?
you got our back.
Please, slow down.
And move over.
I love that idea. I travel to Buffalo every week, and you would be surprised how many people are still staying in the right lane. If there's a ambulance or a police officer has pulled someone over, whatever, a truck driver is pulled over because their truck is broke down or whatever, slide over to the left, give them some room, because you never know if they're trying to get out of their vehicle or doing some kind of repair or whatever. So you see folks along the side of the road, pull over to the left, give them some room. Okay. I got two great visitors here today, two guests that are going to be joining me in just a second. But I got to tell you a little story. A while back, I got this, I don't even know, it was a phone call or email or whatever, and this guy calls up and says, we want to interview you for our newspaper. I'm going like, okay. And he says, let's get together at McDonald's in Lakewood. Okay, well, I know where that is. So I go to Lakewood, McDonald's, and I'm sitting there. And I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. I'm looking at this guy. I go, I wonder if that's him. I wonder if that's him. And you know, and finally I get a phone call, and it says, I'm at McDonald's. Where are you? I go, I'm at McDonald's. Where are you? So Walt Pickut's sitting on one side of McDonald's having coffee, and I'm on the other side eating, and we didn't even know we were in the same building. So how funny that was. So that was the beginning of our friendship here. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome Walt Pickut and Stacey Hannon from the Jamestown Gazette. Good morning, and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
You are very welcome, and you're looking very purple.
Yes, we
You are in the grape
pretend
season.
to be purple.
So, I have a very serious question for you. All right.
Certainly.
My question is you feature things in your newspaper, and we'll get to all that here in a minute. But is it true that you only interview the famous people that are really important in Chautauqua County? It must be, because. Oh, there goes the picture. There goes the picture. Okay, Randy, you'll have to fix that. Okay.
Oh, look at this.
Look at this. It's got to be true, right?
It's true. Absolutely, it's true.
I'm
glad that you had
This
that
was
break.
the result of that meeting, and I hang this in my office. I'm so proud of it, and thanks, Randy, for doing that. Maybe you can zoom in on this, Randy. I don't know. Where are you? What camera are you at? I'm making them run around. Anyways,
Yes.
this was so much
Looks
fun.
like you had the Easter issue, too.
It could be, and a lot of people don't know that this actual photo is from last Halloween, and I think you whatever, you cut this out, but there's a spider get my right hanging down over here. But anyway, so that was whoa. There we go. So there we are, and so just so happy that we're interviewed and part of your newspaper. So Jamestown Gazette, Stacey Hannon, publisher.
Yes.
How in the world do you get from point A to point B to be a publisher of your own newspaper?
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, how's that work? Tell us all about it.
I kind of wonder that myself sometimes.
I wonder how I got here. So.
I know, there you go. Yes. Yeah, just a love for my community.
Okay.
And I was been very blessed. I've worked for a lot of wonderful companies that I was able to tap into their resources and the knowledge and watched a lot of what was going on around me, things that maybe not necessarily I actually knew how to do, but I certainly knew how to tap into some of those resources. I really believed in my heart that the Jamestown Gazette would be a successful business. And not only a business, but something that all of us, regardless if you're a reader, an advertiser, a service organization, many of those items that you talked about earlier are in our paper. It's what a pleasure it is to have a business that so many people really love, and that we give that to them every single week.
Okay, so the Jamestown Gazette is a weekly publication.
Yes.
And we have some copies here, and I don't know if folks have seen this, but is this week's, October 5th?
This would be this week.
All right, this week. All right.
And you're probably going to have an insert
Okay.
sneak out of there.
I see Mary Ann Spano. She's
Oh,
often,
yes.
She's often on the
Yes.
show here talking about breast cancer awareness, so we're timely. But this is a lot of stuff.
It is.
So
We use every space we can get in that paper. I mean, it's really tight. We have lots of stories, lots of businesses that are advertising with us. Packet full.
So how long has this been around now?
We started in April 2011, so we're heading real close to hitting our 5 years, and that's pretty much it. I mean, we cover Chautauqua, Cattaraugus, and Warren, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
That's what I love about being on this show. I'm always learning
Yeah.
something. So you're in Cattaraugus, you're into Warren County.
Yes, we are. Well, we are in 26 zip codes.
Wow.
We say we're in 3 counties, 2 states, and 26 zip codes.
And after today, you'll be in the world.
There we go. Oh, we're always in the world
You're in the
because we're
world.
on the
That's
online.
right, you're in the internet. As far as the Gazette goes, 5 years ago, you must have had this idea. You got the Post-Journal, you got the Dunkirk Observer, and Mayville Sentinel. I think they're still around. You got the Westfield Republican, and there's probably some others out there that I'm not even thinking of right now. Why another newspaper?
You know, I get asked that a lot, particularly since we also started in a recession.
Yeah.
People, you know, the community was, and you can imagine trying to explain this to your husband. And
we've had these discussions in my house.
and even my adult children. I mean, all of a sudden they become, you know, they know everything. So I went down to the Small Business Development Center at JCC.
Irene Dobies.
Yes, absolutely.
Bill Everett.
Another Rotarian.
Yes.
And I had them do some research. I made an appointment with them, and I said, I really believe that there is room for a free weekly community paper. And so they did the research, and they came back, and I received an email, and they said that, yes, they did the research, and that there really is room for another paper in Chautauqua County that would be a free weekly community paper.
Free weekly. Those two words don't even seem to go together. Free newspaper.
Right.
Free,
So
free to the reader.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, right. We, once I had that information, we just moved forward.
Okay.
It took us we started all the big process about February of 2011, and our first issue was out in April. So I worked very fast, working with the state, hiring people, finding, getting all the programs you need, the computers. I mean, it was just a mound full of things that I had to do to get started. And we did that all in a very short amount of time.
You said the state, New York State gets involved?
Yes. Well, certainly, we're a business, so we were,
Oh,
yes.
at the business level.
Yes,
okay.
we have to,
But you don't have to get permission from New York State to be a newspaper.
no.
Okay.
But you do need to have, you need to be a business.
Right, you have to
So,
file the proper paperwork.
Yes,
and
that was challenging. And, yeah, so we started that way, and then I was able to hire a graphic designer, because I truly believe that, you know, put people around you that know how to do things. I obviously cannot do this on my own.
Wow.
So I have a graphic designer, and then I was looking for an editor, and Walt Pickut's name kept coming up over and over again. He had just joined Rotary, where I am a Rotarian.
That's always a dangerous place, isn't it?
Yes. And so once I called Walt up one afternoon, and I said, would you like to go for coffee? And we really didn't know each other.
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
Did you find each other easily?
We did, yeah. Well, we went to a much smaller place. We talked for a couple hours, and I had myself an editor. And Walt's been with me since our first issue.
Okay. I understand the process a little bit, but for our viewers,
Sure.
Your title is publisher, his title is editor. What do you do? What does that mean? So, whatever. Walt, let's start with you. Give
Okay.
Stacey a breather here.
We talk a lot. That really helps.
I do too. What does an editor do?
I edit stuff. First of all, we have some really, really creative contributing writers. And I think it's really important for me to make sure they look the best they can look. That's my job. And even the best, a typo or a spelling error or something like that. So I work real hard to make sure everything is as polished and buffed up as possible.
So you have to read every single thing that goes into that paper?
Because that's one of the comments we've gotten is people say, you know, you can read your paper without having to stumble over a lot of misspelled words. And we
Well, let's
like that.
be general about this.
Yeah.
If you pick up most newspapers anywhere, it's not always perfect.
Right.
And you're saying yours is close to perfect.
Oh, we're great.
Okay. Because I've read in newspapers, and I'm not going to pick on anyone anywhere in particular because I travel around a lot. But I'll pick up something, and all of a sudden you're reading, and the sentence ends in the middle of the sentence because they're cut and pasting, and nobody went back to make sure it
Right.
all went together.
When the words wind up on the page, it's gone through a number of hands
Good.
and through a number of processes. And the best people in the world, these can still have these little things jump in there.
Who edits your work?
I do.
Okay, and the reason why I say that is because I write, as you know, for Silver Magazine. My column is called From Out of the West, and Kirsten Johnson is my editor, and I can't edit my own work because I'm reading it and I'm just blowing right by the words without looking for the detail.
You're absolutely right. It's very tricky to edit your own things. There's an old saying in the art world, after you're done painting the picture, you turn the picture to the wall for a while. So you can't see it. Then you look at it again as if it's new. And every time I'm done with something that I write, I decide I'm not done. And even if I know somebody's really waiting for it, because we've got a deadline, I still wait a little while and take another look. And you still can't get it all. But you do your very best. You really have to be very critical. Sometimes one of the things we laugh about is that Stacey will ask me about the content in a story that we had in there. And I'll say, I don't know, I only read it. Which means I looked for spelling errors and typos.
Right,
and
that was
things.
your job. You're not
Yeah.
responsible for what it says.
And I'm not sure
for how it looks.
You read it a whole different way.
Yeah.
I had a journalism professor once who said that if you do it right, you can eventually get to the point where those things jump off the page at you.
So writing is, in some places, is a lost art.
Well, yeah, people are good at it because they work at it. All good writing is rewriting, as I'm sure you know. And I think a lot of people think they're not good at writing because it just doesn't flow right off the tip of their pen. And they think it does for good writers, and it doesn't. It takes a lot of work.
Stacey, do you write for the newspaper?
I do not write for the newspaper.
Okay.
No. I'm not a graphic designer. I'm not a writer.
So everybody has their job, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We do have a meeting every week, couple of
Yes.
weeks, months, a budget meeting to decide what the next stories are going to be.
Yes.
How do you decide? I mean, how's that work?
It's like a brainstorm, right? We just kind of sit in the room and we just talk and we look and see what is coming up. And we look at what we've done in the past at around the same time.
Oh, okay, like a theme type
we
thing?
always try to tap into something that's going on. A lot of events, so we're aware of, if there's the Celtic Festival coming on,
Sure.
or the Scandinavian Festival. Now we'll be hitting into a lot of the holiday season. Yeah.
Okay.
Our lead story is usually something that's what we do with the Jamestown Gazette is we're always talking about something that's happening in the future. Because of being that we are a weekly paper, so there is some articles in our paper that is maybe there's a press release in there that they had an event and they want to tell us about what they had done. But most of our paper is what is going to happen in the future.
Okay, most people, I would say, are used to knowing that there's an editor, there's a publisher, and we're going to get back to publisher in a minute.
Sure.
But then you have the worker bees. So who are the worker bees and what do they do?
We have 2 graphic designers.
Okay, so they're in charge of
Yes.
the hard copy and then something online as well, right?
Yes, and we have a web manager.
Oh, so 3 of them.
So we have a web manager that everything that you see on our website, he has put on the website. But he doesn't do that until we're finished with the product.
Okay.
And so he has a way to, we hand him all of that, and
Upload it.
he just uploads it all on our website. So that's been very nice. He doesn't work in our office. He can do that on his own.
So there we go. See, I told you they would bring this up
Yeah.
because our
Yeah.
crew is
There we
very
go.
technical. All right.
Yes, so we have a nice website. All our issues are on there underneath previous issues. So you
So
can,
all they got to do is Google Jamestown Gazette, right? They would
right,
pop up. And there you go.
JamestownGazette.com.
Easy.
Very easy.
Yeah.
And we have readers from all over the world actually reading that. A lot of folks that lived in Chautauqua County who still have that love of their hometown, and they read our paper every week.
Barb and I, we travel a good fair amount for recreational purposes. And like when we were in Europe, sometimes we're there for a couple, 3 weeks, and I'll bring up the local newspapers,
Right.
and I want to keep track of things.
Certainly.
There's just stuff that just so important that we can miss. Okay, so you got graphic designers, you got graphic artists. Who else works for you?
Well, I do most of the sales. So I'm the outside salesperson per se.
Okay.
One of our graphic designers, Lori Byers, she's fantastic. She is our inside salesperson, and she's a graphic designer.
Okay.
So she's on the she is a salesperson on the phone,
Okay.
emailing.
Okay.
So she knows a lot of some of our very larger.
So you're doing the
clients.
person-to-person type thing? Okay.
And then I'm out on the road most every day.
Okay, okay. How about, here's a question that pops up, so this will throw us around here. Okay, does the Gazette website only show the first paragraph like the other newspaper, the Post-Journal, or the full article? So
We have the full article on
full
there.
article. There you go, viewer. I get these questions. Remember I told you
Yes.
the questions will pop up. That's a good question. Also, the Chautauqua Star, is that kind of similar to yours, but on the
Yes.
other side of the county?
Well, they're full county, actually.
Oh, they are?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're in all of Chautauqua County.
Okay.
Yes, and we are in, as far as Chautauqua County goes, outside, of course, obviously, you can read it anywhere. As distribution locations, we are in Chautauqua, in the southern Chautauqua County.
Okay.
And in Cattaraugus and in Warren.
Okay.
So-
You're like when I was looking through your website, it was showing all the drop-off places. You got to have like about 50 of them or something like that. I mean, you're everywhere down there.
250.
Well, it must be, I didn't count all the
I
places.
guess not.
I mean, restaurants and different establishments. I mean, so people can pick this up anywhere they want along the way.
Pretty much. They aren't really going to miss it. That's for certain.
Okay. Publisher.
Yes.
What does a publisher do? I mean, that's...
I know, it's like a title. I don't know.
It's like being show host, or I'm a producer. That's my technical
right.
title here is producer. Oh, so you're publisher, boss lady, or whatever.
I guess I'm the one that's responsible for everything,
Okay.
being the publisher. Everything that is, obviously I'm the owner of the
Okay.
Jamestown Gazette. I created it myself out of my own thoughts and dreams that I had carrying around in myself for many years until I
Can I put in a plug for Stacey? Seriously, when
Sure,
you
if
say
you
what,
want to raise, go for it.
what does a publisher do? Stacey really has a talent for knowing what is really going to be of interest to the readers. We get a lot of press releases, far more than you could put in 2 papers, I think, most of the time. And I think she really has a talent for knowing what readers are going to be interested in. And I hear an awful lot of comments about how relevant and how appropriate and how interesting and entertaining all of the content is, and so much of that is because Stacey's eye for what works. And actually that kind of dovetails with what I do, is that if I have an editorial policy, it's that the story isn't the story, it's the people behind the story. It's the people's paper. That doesn't just mean the people who read it, but the people who write about it. If we write about a business in town, for instance, I ask our contributing writers to introduce those people to our readers. They're really interesting. If they've got a great business, they must be interesting people. And my attitude is that if the people are interesting, then people will want to go to that business and do business there.
True or false? People think that Chautauqua County is a dying area and that we've got nothing to offer.
Well, I guess that's just mistaken.
Yes, but people, they seem to have that feeling. And I call them the coffee clatchers that sit around the restaurants at 7 o'clock in the morning complaining and crabbing and grousing about everything. They're the ones that aren't out and about and realizing what's really good about Chautauqua County. Sure, we got issues, but this is a great place to live. Wouldn't you agree with that?
I agree totally, and I'm from the New York City area, and
We won't hold
so
that against
glad
you.
I'm here. Well, if these nice folks here let me move here without a passport, and I even came from New Jersey, which is very nice of everybody. So Joyzy, yeah. The thing is that if you're trying to improve, then by definition where you are today just isn't good enough.
Right.
And that's fine. That's the place to start from. So if people know that there are problems, that's fine with me. That's where you start from. That's our jumping off point to get better tomorrow. So it's not even 2 sides of the same coin. It's just they're only concentrating on what if we never got any better. That's what they're really saying.
And I think when we look around, we think of superstars and how interesting their lives are, and they're not very interesting. We see rock idols and we think, oh, how fascinating. They're not really that interesting. It's the people that we meet day to day to day that lived through the Depression or started a business or raised kids or faced unbelievable odds in their lives, and the stories and the richness of the fabric of their story is unreal. And they're all around us. And that's what I love about doing this show, is because I get to hear about all those great stories. So you're doing it in paper form and on the internet as well.
Well, you just quoted our old friend Jim Roselli, too.
Oh, Days of Our
Everybody
Lives.
is a story.
Yes.
Everybody is a story. And, you know, if you're a weekly, by the way, you're telling a different kind of a story than a daily. The daily newspaper's job is to tell you what happened yesterday that mattered.
Right.
A weekly is really here to tell you what's coming up. Because news is a week old by the time our paper comes out. What would be the point of publishing last week's news? And so we also publish a different kind of writing. It's not the standard newspaper journalistic inverted pyramid where you have a lead at the top and all of the information goes in.
The who, the what, the where, the when.
Right. This is much more of a magazine format.
Okay.
And that's a whole different way of writing. But I think it's a lot more engaging because you're really trying to tell the entire story about something that you want to interest people in to get themselves involved in.
Okay. So it's not so much informational, but it's more storytelling?
Yeah, it is storytelling.
Very good.
You know, it's what you might find in either People magazine or Newsweek magazine or New Yorker, that sort of a thing. It's a different kind of writing. It's subtle, and I think people find it entertaining, but they're not sure why.
Yeah, yeah. And I think we still like to read. You know, I know that some people are really into blogging and reading things on the internet, but I still think in their heart they still like to have a good story. And do you limit the size of your stories? I know some.
We have targets, but you know, I usually run over. For some of the stories, we try to ask our contributors to stay between 300 and 500 words. There's a limit to how much people are going to want to read. We like to give people things that they can sit down and read, not quickly, but they don't have to
5-10 minutes, yeah.
spend the afternoon reading it. I heard someone once say that, I think it's a rabbinic story. Someone said, why did God create man? Because God likes a good story.
Oh. Hang on a second. Folks, you're watching Chautauqua Sunrise. My fine guests today are Stacey Hannon, publisher of the Jamestown Gazette, and Walt Pickut, who's the editor of the same. And if you have a question or a comment or you have an announcement, give us a call here, 753-5225, or you can Twitter us as we're getting here along the way. Having a great talk here, so if you have any questions, give us a call. I wrote for a couple newspapers over the years as a reporter, and I haven't heard that word reporter yet. And I got paid 25 cents a column inch, and I think my best day I made like $7 on an article. I like to write if I could, but then they kept cutting me back. So how does that work nowadays? Do you have reporters?
Typically, we don't do that in a typical sense. We don't often go to things that are where we're going to report on what happened last week. We have a daily paper in town, and they do a good job. Some people think a daily and a
So what do you call the person that writes about the future?
Contributing writer.
Okay.
They're creative people.
Okay.
And
you just put that on me. That's interesting.
Well, actually, a reporter and journalist are also two different things, because a reporter reports the facts, and a journalist writes something you'd find in a journal, which is almost an op-ed, an opinion kind of a piece.
That's what I write, yeah.
So that there are subtle distinctions in there.
Yeah, there is. I just got a question that came through here. Does the Gazette accept submissions or ideas? So I'm not exactly sure what they mean by that, but in other words, if they have something that they think that you might be interested in writing about, would you follow up on it or something like that? Okay.
Yeah, we have right on page 3 of the Jamestown Gazette, first of all, they could read Walt's amazing editorial. Very interesting every week.
Page 3, all right.
And on there is where they can send their submissions to us. That's where we we have info@jamestowngazette.com. If they have a question of a story idea, we'd love to hear it. They can send that to us at info. We also have news@jamestowngazette.com. That would be, send us your press releases, tell us your news. We would love to publish that for you in the Jamestown Gazette.
But not the past, the future.
Some of the past.
Okay.
Some of the past.
Could be an interesting thing.
Certainly. There's lots of pasts in there this week. Particularly, there's been a lot of fundraisers for breast cancer, as you mentioned earlier. We ran their press releases to tell people to go to the event, and now we're getting the press releases that are telling us how much money they raised.
Oh, okay.
So,
sort of a report back to the community.
Certainly. So it's a follow-up from the story that they originally ran.
You know, that's really important, because how many times have we see this event's going to happen, and it happens, and you don't hear well, how'd it go?
Right.
So that's, people want to know.
Yes,
Did you raise the $5,000? Did you get that piece of equipment or whatever? So good for you. That's good. All right, back to publisher. I'm going to keep opening up this topic here. So you have contributing writers, not reporters. So how many contributing writers do you have?
I believe there's 6 or 7.
Okay. And these are full-time people or people part-time?
No, they're contributing, which means that they contribute their writings. But I think the other part about having a paper such as ours, there's a lot of folks that we have come across in the last nearly 5 years that love to write. And if you're a quilter, you make a beautiful quilt and you can take it to a quilt show. But if you're a writer, it pretty much stays in your drawer.
Right. Nobody gets to see it, yeah.
Right. So we love our contributing writers. They're wonderful. We really Walt works wonderful with them. And they send us an article that on a certain topic. Like we have a Faith Matters articles in there. We have a lady that writes a cooking article. We have a genealogy article. These are all people that are local folks that live in and around Jamestown and other towns in Chautauqua County. And they now have a way to showcase their writings.
This is a very different model for a newspaper. I'm fascinated. I'm just sitting here and I'm spinning the whole thing in my mind. It's really cool. Well, do a shout out for your contributing writers. Who are they?
Wow.
I'm not going to put you on the spot, but name as many as you can. Or you can look at your newspaper, help
I
us
think he
out.
knows most of them.
Okay.
Two folks that Stacey knows pretty well. They happen to be identical twins, and her sons are both local pastors.
Oh, wow.
And they alternate.
Two pastors?
Yeah.
Two Lutheran pastors.
So who gets to say prayers at Thanksgiving?
At least now my husband and I both have a Gateway Inn.
Oh.
They,
We're all good.
Yes, yes.
We have our reservations made. Go ahead.
I think you could probably say they were raised well. They're really very creative writers.
Okay.
They're entertaining. Sometimes they're funny. They're
Funny
very
is good.
Yes.
evocative, and that's great. We like to have an inspirational piece
He
like
talks
that.
like an
every week.
editor, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
The words get longer and longer as he goes. Okay, keep going. So we got the twins.
We got the twins.
What are their names?
Sean and
Scott.
Scott.
Okay.
I knew that. I just thought it'd be
That
fun
is weird.
to
I
have
have
say it.
in our family, my oldest son is Scott, and my next son is Sean.
Oh, isn't that something? It must be
But they're not
Irish.
twins, though. Well, we have Irish in the family. Okay, so what else you got?
Well, Patty Peel does a historical piece,
Okay.
and our genealogy is, oops, help me out.
Janet Vanstrom.
Janet
Okay.
Vanstrom. And that's a very interesting piece because she's been doing that series now once a month for a long time.
Right.
And I think that anybody who really wants to know about how to do their family genealogy, if they'd simply look at all of her archives in the Gazette, they've got an entire book on how to do it.
I've
wonderful.
done my family genealogy, and I got us back to like the 1500s in Belgium and in the Netherlands and that. And people say, well, you want to go back farther? I go, well, how much more do you need? I mean, you want to be the king of whatever? I mean, but genealogy is such a hot item still for people. And you know, and I think what's so good about folks like this woman that writes for you is that they give tools for the generation after us. They don't know their great-grandparents. They don't
Right.
know the history. Somehow it got lost. We're Americans, and that's wonderful, but we don't know where we came from.
Yeah.
And so now they can go back and they go, really? And that's fascinating. Okay, so genealogy, history.
We've got Join Me in the Kitchen, Vicki McGraw.
Okay.
She's also the owner of Elegant Edibles.
Okay.
You may know her. And she is a really creative writer. She's a creative person. And I think it shows up in the way she prepares food that she supplies with her business. But in my experience, creative people who are creative in one thing are just creative. And it'll show up in a lot of things they do. So that one's
Does she
a lot of
bring
fun.
free samples in to test the recipes?
She sure does.
Well, she also provides a luncheon at the Rotary.
Yes, we
Gotcha.
So that's fun. And her recipes are always worth following. Who else have we got?
We have Vicki has been with us. Vicki McGraw has been with us since and of course my sons have been with us since the first issue, and so has Joanne Tanner. She's a master gardener.
Oh, okay.
And so she, her articles are very interesting as well. She has her articles are called Down to Earth, just so appropriate.
Sure.
Yeah, so so there's another one. We have some movie reviews that go in. We have.
Now, who does that?
We have students at Fredonia. Fredonia State.
Perfect. Bringing everybody local, all local
Yes,
crops.
yes. And then we have Bill Burke. He's at JCC.
Okay.
He's the athletic director down there. He writes for us every week a sports article as a contributing writer.
Excellent.
And so we've been very fortunate, and they send them in on timely manner, and we're very, very lucky to have them.
Bill is a very interesting example. I don't think he'd mind me saying he's a jock, but he's very well educated too. He's an educator at JCC. But I asked him about this a couple of times. I said, did you ever study writing? I think he's had a little bit of that in college, but he has a natural talent. You can just tell when you read what he writes. It's very entertaining, and he just knows how to put a sentence together. It's a lot of fun to read his stuff.
I don't know how it's for you, Walt, but because we're both writers, and you're like way into another zone from me, but people say to me all the time, "Oh, where do you get your ideas for writing for Silver Magazine or whatever?" And I go like, I don't know. Sometimes I don't know what I'm going to write till like 3 minutes before deadline, and then all of a sudden it just comes gushing out. It just, it's like it comes out so fast sometimes I can't write and type fast enough. You ever find that?
Yeah, I do. As a matter of fact, I've started, actually a few years ago, I started using Dragon. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
because
voice
you
program.
just dictate. And of course, Microsoft even has a good feature for that. Now, you can just speak to your computer and it takes it down. Some of the typos are far funnier than anything I'd ever think of. But, you know, I always write my editorial, though, on whatever is on the front cover, and sometimes I find that there are other stories related to it in the Gazette as well, so I tie them in. So that one always gives me ideas. But you remind me of what Stephen King says. In his memoir, he wrote, "I never, ever know how my books are going to end until I get there."
Yeah.
He said, just take interesting people, put them in interesting situations, and take notes on what they do.
I love to write. It's fascinating to me, and people say, because I've written things that nobody's ever seen before, and they go, "Well, let me see it." I go, "I'm not ready yet. It's not done, and I don't want anybody to see it till it's done." But writing's a fascinating thing for me.
Well, there was one writer who said you never actually finish a book.
That's true.
You just abandon it. You say that's as much as
That's
I
why
want to do.
I can't go any further. There's a topic that you haven't talked about, and I don't talk about, and we talked a little bit about this before we came on the air. When Reed Powers had the show called The Senior Report, and there's many loyal viewers still that follow my show, we did a lot of politics and that sort of thing. And I don't talk about politics. That's not part of my mission for Chautauqua Sunrise. You haven't used the word politics. Do you? Where do you go with that?
Well, we, during political seasons, we have, Walt and I worked together to draft up a message to all politicians, and we sent that to them.
Play nice?
Yes, play nice. That we would be more than happy to publish their messages as long as it was positive and it wasn't against any other opponent.
Good.
And we have found that we've talked to many of them. They're very thrilled with our format.
Great.
That they can be assured that no one is going to talk about them either.
Okay.
And of course we have some advertising space
Sure.
available for
Be
them
happy
as
to.
well.
Be happy to.
Yes, of course.
Okay. We have a phone call. Would you like to take a phone call?
Certainly,
All right.
yes.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Doc. Good
Oh,
morning,
okay.
Stacey.
Linda, good morning.
and good morning. And it's so great to see you on the show, Walt, again. And I was thinking of you when we had the lunar eclipse.
Oh,
I was wishing that I was at your there with the telescopes looking into the heavens.
At the Mars Observatory.
Yeah. Were many people there that night?
I think we had about 200.
Whoa.
As a matter of fact, Randy, right behind the
show
camera
us.
there, just told me he was up there because a lot of his friends are on our board and members of the observatory as well. We're always wondering what's up.
Yeah. Well,
Good one.
I couldn't. There was a lot of cloud cover here, and I really didn't get to see it. I mean, I saw it, but I didn't see much happening. What time was it at its summit?
Oh my goodness, I don't really remember right now. I was on my front porch looking at it with my wife, and it was really beautiful and quite impressive. But sorry, I don't remember the time.
Oh, okay. Well, I wanted to say how much I enjoy your private newspaper. What a real attribute it is to our community to have a privately operated and owned newspaper. We have so much of the, so much of it is owned and they're chain newspapers, which seems to be the way things are going because of expenses. And I do appreciate your objectivity. So much of our articles are tainted with individual influences, and they're not in the editorial section, but just general news coverage. And I find that on the large media too, the television. And really, I strongly believe in objective reporting. So I want to thank you for your good work in the community.
I did
Yes,
not
me
ask her
too.
to say that. So.
Oh, thank you for reading. We enjoyed that too.
Well, you know, in journalism school, and they make it very plain that it's almost impossible to get your opinion out of your reporting, but they're not really saying we should try hard to do that anymore. And most reporters are trying to be journalists, and they're trying to make sure their opinion gets in it since they can't keep it out. I think that's just an excuse for trying not to be objective. And it takes a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix is in the room.
What you really have to do is you have to give your readers the respect and say, I think if they get the facts, they'll come to their own opinion. I don't need to give them mine. You know, I can do an editorial and give you my opinion, but that's where it belongs. Other than that, being a journalist instead of a reporter, I'm not sure respects your readers enough.
Yes.
Linda, just breaking news, in case you want to know, that situation was at its peak at 10:17. I just got it on Twitter here.
Amazing.
Thank you.
We are amazing here.
Well, see, I wasn't out at that time. That's why I missed it.
Okay.
I think I waited till around 11 because that's what Aaron Minkowski said to go out, you know, around that time. I don't know. I wanted to know if you plan on interviewing Donald Trump.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Are you talking to them or me? We could do a joint
Oh,
one.
that would be
We'll
fun.
all get beat up at the same
Yeah.
time. You people are idiots.
Oh, it's just great to have such comic celebrities, isn't it?
Yes.
This is a great place for that journalistic line, no comment.
I suppose I shouldn't be making a comment either.
You can. That's your right. You're the caller. I have to be careful. They got to be careful, but you don't.
Well, if he wants to take one step up and run for mayor in Jamestown, we'll talk to him.
Oh.
I wanted to say that we do have services with the Chautauqua County Office of the Aging, and we are recruiting for positions in the area, and the number to call is 753-4471.
Okay.
Thank you.
Linda, as always, thanks for calling. And thanks for the nice compliments for the Gazette, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, have a great week.
Okay, bye now.
Bye.
Okay, Jamestown Gazette publisher. Back to you
Yes,
one more time.
okay.
I'm not trying to be
Yes,
redundant here,
it's okay.
but how do you go from somebody's idea to this pile of paper in my hands? What are all the steps that you got to go through? It's complicated to me.
It is complicated. But I worked at prior to owning the Jamestown Gazette, I worked for another community newspaper. So I watched very carefully, asked a lot of questions, things that I worked with graphic designers, found out about printing. I called the Gazette is printed by the Corey Journal.
Okay.
I met with them and had a laundry list of questions, and I worked with Bob Williams there, and he was almost a mentor to me.
Great.
I didn't have all the answers, obviously, and that was very helpful there. And then, of course, bringing Walt on with the stories, bringing in graphic designers that have the creative side of making the paper look so beautiful, and
Yeah, it's
building
very
our
colorful, very nice.
building our these wonderful the advertisers are able to advertise in there at a low cost. I think that's the other part of a community paper is that people want to be a part of their community, and business owners, and particularly the smaller businesses, they want to get their message out. They
Right.
want to get their stories out. They want to tell you about themselves. And that's our job.
Okay, and so give them a phone number right now. How they get a hold of you,
Certainly.
because we got 26 seconds left.
Well, we can have them call us at 484-7930. They can also send any messages to us by internet, which I told you before is on page 3.
Okay, super. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels, and my guests have been Stacey Hannon, publisher of the Jamestown Gazette, and Walt Pickut, editor of the Jamestown Gazette. And I want to thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
We're going to do this all again next Saturday morning, so thanks again. Have a wonderful weekend. Get the snow shovels out. You may need them. I don't know. But I think we're having a warming trend. But anyways, have a great weekend. Be safe, stay warm, and we'll see you all next time.
Thank you.